The STAR interviewing technique is a storytelling ability where you explain the situation, task, action, and result. It's normally about a 2 to 3 minute answer to their interview questions. So the interviewer, they're going to use behavioral type questions in order to figure out your past performance because that's the best indicator of how you're going to react in a particular situation in the future. So they want to see success for future success. All right, so an example of that question would be from your interviewer is they say, tell me about a time you solved a complex problem for a client. Well, one time I had to set up a whole lab environment. And so the first thing I did was I started all the documentation of where everything was going to be laid out, all the commands for the router switches, the IP scheme, the subnets, and how it was going to connect to the Active Directory. Once I finished that, it had a longer upstart of about 2 weeks. I showed it to the leadership, they approved, and then I got started working in the lab where I started running all the wires. I had to cut the Ethernet and set that all up. And then I also, with the wiring, once I plugged in the computer, I had to go into the flooring and I had to label the flooring and I matched that with the documentation of where it was going to be plugged into the router. So that way it was very meticulously so anybody that was brand new could look at the documentation and know exactly where everything goes. And once I figured programming everything, I brought it back to leadership, finished, and they were very impressed with the technique that I used for labeling all information and the results of the paperwork. So that shows the situation, the task that I had, the actions, the systematic process, and the result is that the leadership was happy with uh, the lab that I created for them.